trying to use my AirPod. I hope the connection or the volume is fine. Let's wait and see. Okay, hi Alex Pels and Zolu. Hi Ziu, how are you doing? Okay, let me see if I can buzz our guest to join me. Okay, so I'll give us a few minutes. Let me just hang on a few minutes while I wait to see who is joining me. That's the wrong person. Awesome. Hello ladies, hello everyone, hello everyone, hello everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, awesome. I think my guest is here. Let me see. Fingers crossed. This thing always has. Are you there? I've accepted your request. Hello sis, can you hear me? Can you hear me sis? Let's see. I've just invited you. Did you get the invite? Yay! This thing always wants to embarrass me. But remember the last time we were here? Yeah. This happened as well. He always wants to embarrass
he always does.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, good to be here.
Good to be
here. Thank you, baby. Can I get my pen, please? Yeah. Thank you.
Those are my men, right?
Yeah, so he was like, Mommy, do you need your book or do you need anything before I go? Because they will soon go to bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the sun is out, but tomorrow is Monday. Before we know it, it will be 9 o'clock.
Yeah. I think it will take getting used to for us again with this weather, because it can be quite deceptive.
Yeah, so what I started doing was I started using blackout curtains.
Okay, so you change your curtains to blackout.
Yeah, because if not, you'll be awake till 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Yeah. And then by 4 a.m. you're awake.
Oh my God. You can say that again.
By 4 a.m. you're awake, and then
another week starts.
Exactly. And another week starts, and then you can't even, once you're awake at that time, you can't go back to sleep.
You can't. No, especially on the days when you even have to go into work. It's a lot more difficult. A lot more difficult.
But yeah, somebody said we shouldn't complain, and I said, yeah, well, that's true, because during winter we'd say, oh, it's too
dark. By 2 o'clock everywhere is dark, so yeah, we should not complain.
You people should enjoy it. Enjoy this time. Awesome. So good to have you, Toyosi. Good evening. Thank you. I call her the mother of my sons, or who are becoming men because very soon they'll go and see we're men.
Right now, Adam is literally past my shoulder, and I'm like, I don't think I have up to 6 months anymore before I am the shortest person in this house. But yeah,
house, exactly. Yeah. And they go. When I became the shortest person in the house, the younger boy one day just looked at me and said, "Mom, how does it feel to be short?" I went, "Are you talking?" Mom, how does it? The way he called me, I thought it was something serious. Mom,
yeah.
Said, how does it feel to be short? I went, are you for real? Are you talking? But of course, trust me, I said, well, it feels good. That's at least I have tall people to call on. Yeah, I was like, it's good to be short. I'm not shorter than I was.
Exactly. It's you people that have grown taller, so it's okay.
It's okay. I'm enjoying the face. Anyway, so good to have you here. And we just hear hello, everyone who is joining us. Short people say hi. Tolu, we're saying hi to you.
Hi.
Yeah, it's so good to have you guys join us. Thank you so much. It's such a beautiful evening, and I'm so excited to have my sister Toyosi here with me. And what we're doing tonight is just having a chat and going over one thing that both of us have in common is we are mama boy. One, two, we are very passionate about parenting and raising wholesome children, wholesome men for the next generation of men and fathers, and husbands. So tonight we're just going to be talking about a few things, but before then, I would introduce myself for those of you that do not know me. My name is Kiki Bukola Gelugo, fondly called Kiki, and I'm the founder of Joshua Zami, where we raise wholesome and exceptional young men who are fit to be world-class leaders, men, fathers, and husbands, in whatever order. But yes, those are what we are focused on at Joshua. One of the things we're also very passionate about is making sure our boys have healthy relationship with their fathers or healthy relationship with male role models. And the reason for that is because everywhere we turn, most places where we turn these days, the toxic masculinity, toxic interpretation of what a man or who a man should be. And a lot of our men are suffering in silence. And guess what? This suffering, this pain, this trauma is being passed down to the younger generation. And the truth is, we cannot sit back and just complain anymore. We need to do something about it, because if we don't do something about it, their wives, their children will complain, and the cycle will just continue. So, hey, that's me. That's what I do, other than other things that I do with mothers of boys and married women and all of that. So, over to you, Toyosi. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Toyosi Gregory, and in my everyday life, I am a mom of 2 boys, Adam and Asha, who I am absolutely blown away by every single day. And aside from being a mom, I am a daughter, and in terms of work, I am a project management professional. And on the other side of that, in terms of then purpose, things that I do for life, I'm a personal transformation coach for women, and I'm very passionate about intentional living. I am of the school of thought that becoming a mom or being a woman is not misery, and it doesn't equal doom. And while you are raising children, you can also be a complete human being, because your children don't need a perfect mom. They need a mom who is happy and fulfilled. And it is in you being happy and fulfilled that you are able to deliver your role as a mom to your children. So it is difficult when people say you can't pour from an empty cup. It is basically, if you have zero purpose, if you have zero zeal for your life, you're literally passing that on to your children by raising them. So when and one of the other school of thought that I'm a very big fan of is that we there is a disconnect between how we look at life and how we what's the word now? I'm trying to okay, there is a huge disconnect in how we as women and mothers look after ourselves and how we raise our children. We constantly think that the more we leave ourselves and let ourselves go, the more our children
Our
can get
children
from
have.
us. But that's a lie. You need to continue to pour
Yeah.
into yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking discipline. I'm talking zeal. I'm talking passion. I'm talking,
It's often
how you
care.
speak about yourself. I'm talking how you look after yourself. And those are the things that actually make the parenting easier for you. Because then when you've done all of that for yourself, your children, they don't listen. They
This.
do what you do, not hear what you're saying. So what you're doing is already doing 90% of the job of the parenting for you if you get it right with
Yeah,
yourself.
I
And
agree with you.
just to also corroborate what you said, what we don't heal, we transfer.
Absolutely.
And when you transfer it, what it means is that, for example, as a woman, if you transfer your unhealed trauma and all of the negativeness to your children, they will go on to their marriages and relationships expecting
And
somebody to
fix that.
exactly, because you now set a standard. You set them a mirror through which they are looking at life, and they'll be saying, "Oh, my mom did this." So my focus is making sure that the children that I'm raising, somebody from somewhere, or maybe even if nobody does, I am accountable to God because that's the job that God has given
As
to me.
giving
But
to you your
ultimately,
first assignment.
exactly,
Yeah.
but ultimately, God will not come from heaven. My children's behavior, life, decisions will affect people. So I'm aware that if I don't do a good job, somebody somewhere will mutter under their breath and literally curse you. And if you don't want that,
You
then
have to
it is
begin from now.
important that you do it from now.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's very important to do from now. And one of the things you said about taking care of ourselves, I always say that I want to believe that's no longer the case, or we're breaking free from that. But unfortunately, we were taught that the more you give yourself, the better you are. But I want to believe we're breaking free from that. And if you're listening to us today, you're still in that
That
bondage.
mold.
Trust me. I always say there's something. In fact, I was in a gathering yesterday and I was still saying, I am sorry, but I am not sorry that in this equation of my relationship, my marriage, my children, my relationship with my children, I am the most important factor.
Period.
And what it means is, because I see that, I know that I am the most important factor, the attention, the care
That goes
I
to
give to myself,
you.
the discipline I put in, the work I put into becoming a better person every day would reflect in their lives.
Yeah,
I went for a
absolutely.
speaking engagement, and apparently I was invited. I don't know what the person saw, and the person just said, "Oh, I think I'm going to invite your son as well, and I'll put both of you on the panel." My heart went jiggling with it. But guess what? We got on the panel, and my boy said something that buttressed what you just said. Emphasized. He said, "I am literally my mom's mirror. I watch her, and the way she dresses, I see it in the way I dress. The way she comports herself, I see it in the way I comport myself. The way I relate to people, the joy I bring to gathering, I learned it from my
My
mom."
mom.
Guess what? I was
Wow.
like, so if I had lived the opposite,
Yeah.
the boy
The
would
same
do
thing.
exactly.
Yeah, the
They
same
would do
thing.
exactly the same
The
thing.
same
And
thing.
this doesn't go just for mothers; it goes for fathers.
Yeah.
And I think I would even echo it more for fathers, particularly when it comes to our boys, that you are the Bible they're
That they're
reading.
reading. Yeah. I just want to quickly say something to what you said. So my son came home last long holiday. He came home and they had an assignment that I was supposed to submit when they resume, which is about 3 weeks, in between. And then I was in the room and then I came out And the next thing I saw was that I saw him in the living room. He was trying to do the assignment. And I'm like, Asha, no, there's no need that you have the next 3 weeks to be at home. Relax.
Yeah.
He was like, Mom, no, I just want to do it now. I just want to get it out of the way. And I said, why? He said, because I don't want it to be last minute and then I'm rushing and I don't get to do it well. Plus also, Mommy, I see you plan ahead for everything.
Also, can you imagine?
I was like, okay. He said, Mommy, I don't see you. Mommy, you're never rushing. Like, you do things way ahead of time. And it shows because you end up doing it well. I don't want to do it last minute. And then I submit something that Miss Casey is not happy about. And I'm like, wow. And you know what? I didn't fight it. I was like, okay, great. He said, if I finish it now, I can focus and really enjoy my play. I can do my thing. While we were having a conversation, the older brother who is in secondary school heard us. And he was like, okay, you know what, Mommy? I'm also going to go and just do my own assignment too. And they did it. And you see, it is from those small things. It is from those small things. We shout, we want them to listen. They don't do this. The question is, how are you?
Did you read my mind? That shout that you said, I was going to say, you didn't have to shout.
I didn't have to.
You didn't have to shout.
I didn't have to. I didn't have to. And this is not saying that, oh, you know, they are the most perfect children. No.
No,
the thing is, even as adults, we forget things. We nudge ourselves. We remind ourselves. Your other will tell you, babe, mama, don't forget this thing. Oh. It's the same way. When we were coming from church today, I reminded everybody when we're driving home, guys, what's our plan for today? Okay, because a few things have changed for us. Okay, when we get home, we'll do this one, we'll do that one, and then we'll then go back to our normal stack of routine on Sunday. I don't have to say, where is this? Where is that? And I have visual cues. We have visual cues. There's a board. So if we, as the mothers, I also want to bring your attention. I saw something today from Emotions Doctor Oyin Konsala on LinkedIn. She talked about the fact that some people have been talking about. She posted not a long time, like about a month ago. She was talking about the fact that people are talking on Twitter about that boys are being left behind. And this lady was asking, I had questions on my head when I saw it, and I was like, it was the exact question she was asking. My question is, who is leaving the boys behind?
Who is leaving the boys behind?
Leaving the boys behind. Look at, you are saying that we're leaving the boys behind. If you're not careful, these same boys are saying they're leaving them behind. You also say they are leaving the men behind. Because our own generation now, a lot of people are crying wolf and saying they've left the men behind. How were they left behind? How? It's a matter of...
And if you feel they're leaving the boys behind, what are you doing about it?
Exactly. You know what people will say? If you're not making effort, for example, she made really valid point. She said, go to the parenting workshops. It is women you will see there. They are the ones buying the books and reading it. They are the ones joining coaching. They are the ones trying to better themselves. These men, where are they? They are there arguing that they don't need therapy. They are there arguing that they don't need this. Meanwhile, your children see you a different way.
Yeah. They see you. They see you. I agree with you. A lot of things needs to be done. But hey, for me, I always say that with all due respect to our mothers, they have raised their sons. Me, I'm raising
my own.
Son.
That's it.
Do you understand? And because like I said, I was in a gathering yesterday, and one of us were talking, and I can't remember what we were saying about husbands. And that person said, oh, did you do it? I said, what you're saying, my husband has done the exact same thing. I said, so what did you do? I said, I laid down boundaries. And I said, I don't like this thing you do. If you do it again, this will be my response. And this is what I just laid it. This is what I would do.
And there's no need to there's no need to repeat yourself. Once that thing happens,
shout.
That's it.
When it happened again, I just did exactly what I said.
Exactly what you say you would do.
And you know what? Two things. That thing, after I did exactly what I said I would say, that thing never happened again.
Because it's like children, they will try your boundaries.
I said the second thing, his sons are watching and they know that, oh, a woman will not take this. A woman will not take this, so I will not do it to a woman. I said, see, these things are being, you need, I think one of the days that you are shouting as a woman, you are angry. No, not tantrum. Just set your boundaries. You respect your boundaries that you have set. Because a lot of the times, even we set boundaries and we don't respect our own boundaries.
We don't. Yeah, a lot of times, a lot.
We don't
Even as parents, we become so we become so soft that we feel that holding up a boundary against a child is wickedness. No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not.
Boundaries, I said boundaries are tools. They are tools that God has given to you to protect what He gave you. And the truth is, you will give account of everything that God has given to you. Yeah. So if you like, anyway, let's go to today's conversation. We can go on and on and on and on. All right. So Toyosi, last year you were at so one of the things we do at Joshua Dami is creating the environment, the atmosphere for fathers or older men to connect with the younger men so they can mentor them and kind of handhold them, dine with them, talk to them, and most importantly, have these men, these fathers, listening to our sons, right? So that they would know. Because one of the things I always say I believe in is parenting classes are great, parenting that are great, but one of the tools that has worked for me is learning from my children, listening to them and asking them, okay, I didn't do this, I did, it didn't work. Next time, what should I do? How did that make you feel? This is how we made, and we talk about it and we come up with strategies. That's one of the things I used to do with my children when they were younger. And that's one of the things we did last year. But you were there as a mom, right? I don't want to say you get crushed.
I did.
Because I know. I was the one that tied you down. I said, no, don't sit down.
It was you and MC that said, you know what? Just wait. There's no need.
Just wait. Just sit down and wait. Yes, exactly. So last year, you were there. I just want you to take us back to what made you bring your boys to the dad and I dinner.
Okay, thank you. What made me bring my boys? As a mom who, of course, have recently become single, one of the things that I decided as part of my tool, as part of my single motherhood tool, because I had a different tool when I was married. When I became single, I realized that sitting down in pity and saying, oh, and I didn't plan to be a single mom, oh, how will I now do it? Was not for me. I accepted and I embraced the season. And I started to say, now that we are here, how do we navigate this season? There is this vacuum that has already been created. I can't do this by myself. What are the things I need to do to fill up this space? Even if it won't fill it 100%, because blood is thicker than water. However, it would do more than not doing anything at all. So I came up with a list of things I wanted to do. The same thing you said, I sit down with the boys and I say, Adam, this has happened. This was what we had in place. This worked for a while. It is clear that you're growing older. You are seeking independence and this is no longer working. Let's come up with what will work. And then see if we'll put it in writing. I write down proper contracts. We sign it off, both of us. So we are both bound by it. Because, yes, we're both bound by it. So when one person is going out of line, the other person can tell them, we agree to this. And let me tell you, collaborative parenting is the easiest to do. When you want to load things, especially when your children are getting older, when you want to load things on them, it never works. It never. When we were growing up, our parents did it to us. We were forced to obey, which is why once our parents were no longer in sight, we became something else. So I decided that the vacuum that was open, what are the ways I will fill it? One of it was finding them life coaches, each of them, right? Then they were in group coaching with other children to build, because in the UK, one of the things I've noticed with a lot of children, especially the boys, is social anxiety and awkwardness.
Yeah.
Right? So I decided I was going to put them in coaching. So put them in life coaching. And then if there were life opportunities for them to go and meet people. So the coaching that they are both doing is online. But then I wanted also live opportunities. There was any I was going to attend. Right? So I put it was part of my goal for the year, part of my parenting goal for last year. That okay, if there was any physical event, I would go. If it was for moms or boys, or if it was for whatever it is, just to put these children in the space where they see what is possible, right? And also create relationship. Who knows, you know? So when I then heard that Dad and I was happening, I had a conversation with somebody earlier about our daughter who was having issues with her daughter, because I share parenting stuff on my Instagram, and I have people in my DM constantly talking to me. So there was somebody I was talking to. So I spoke to the daughter on her behalf. We had that conversation, and then I told her that there is a huge gap between you and your daughter that needs to be closed. The reason why you think that your daughter is going left and you want her to go right is not because she's a bad child. It's because she doesn't feel safe around you. She doesn't feel safe talking to you. These were A, B, C, D, some of the things she told me. This part of this conversation, I'm not going to share with you because I promised her I was going to keep it. But here are the things that I picked from talking to your daughter. So she said, okay. And I said to her that I don't know if there are anybody that do like mom to daughter kind of bonding. That she said she has tried, but it didn't work. I said, how are you trying? Is it just you? Did you ask her opinion? Did you involve her in decision making? Did you give her the opportunity? You know what? I'll bring the money. You choose the venue. Those are some of the ways that you make them. These children want to feel valued. They want to feel heard. They want to feel seen. Until you do those three things, everything else is a waste of time. You can pray from now till 20 years. It will be the same.
It will be the same. I agree with you.
I told her she wasn't feeling sane. So it was from that conversation, and I told her that maybe you should check online if there are places where people actually do this as a retreat. Do you understand? With their daughters, with daughters. You know me, I don't know much about it. I don't. It's not, if it was something that was important to me, I would have looked for it. I said, go check online, like mom and daughter retreats, and see if that's something that both of you would love to go. We had a conversation, and then you will not believe that maybe like a week after, I then found out about Joshua's Army and Dad and I event. I was like, oh wow. The algorithm is just doing what the algorithm does. So I now said to her that, I found this, and I actually think if this exists for boys, there must be something like this for girls. I would also be on the lookout. You also find, So it was then time to come to the event. My plan was that I was going to ask somebody come with my children, but then I reached out to the person. Unfortunately, that weekend, the person is doing PhD. I said, oh, please, I'm happy to even pay for your time. Help me, take these children, because person also has boys. And he was like, oh, you would go. But then on the day of the thing, he now calls me and says that his supervisor said he needs to come to Cranfield, so he couldn't make it. I was like, okay, great. I will take them there. I will drop them off, and I'll come back home. Hopefully, whatever it is that they're sharing there, at least let them even just be around, other boys and their dads.
Boys. Yeah.
That's why I brought them. So I came. My plan was to just drop them off and leave. Before yourself and the MC now said, you know what? Just wait. And then I waited, and I think last year it was the most pivotal experience of my life, because it was affirming in ways that if only somebody who was there would understand. What am I saying? I've always been saying that if as a father you are too far off from your child, you people will be shouting, you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined. Oh, discipline no more. Listen, this thing is pushing them further away. It's pushing them further away. There's somebody that I currently, kind of like mentor the son. I just picked interest from church. I just picked interest because they are troubled. One of them is behind bars. And then the second one is also looking like trouble for the mom. And, became someone that was getting a tag. So I got curious. I started talking to him. And then from the conversation, it was clear that a lot of it was parenting problem. A lot of it was nobody was listening to him. And then one of the things that the boy said to me that really I held on to, he was like, Auntie, my mom is always lying. My mom is always lying. I know everything that Dad is doing. And he upset me that he does about the fact that my mom tries to lie to cover up for him.
Oh my days.
The fact that my mom tries to lie and cover up for him makes it difficult. So when she says don't lie, it's almost like I am wearing the cloak of lying, because you are saying something else and you're asking us to do something else.
Something else. And they can see these children are the greatest psychologists you can
Sis,
think of. They see, they hear, they smell, they feel.
that woke me up. He woke me up because I'm a single mom. And what the society tells me is that I have to make somebody who is hell bent on making my life miserable. I have to do PR for him in front of his children. Sis, that was the day I dropped the job of doing PR for another person's child. No, no, no. Because the more I am telling the children what is not, they see the truth. What
They
happens? I
see,
lose
they
credibility
see.
as a parent. I am the one raising them. I am the one that will lose credibility, and I am the one that my life will be made miserable
And
raising them because
you are the one that will be blamed.
they will still be blamed because they don't trust me. See, no, even as adults, we cannot listen, we cannot respect, we cannot love somebody that we do not trust. And that's the thing a lot of fathers don't get. A lot of your boys don't trust you. So they are looking at you from afar that, oh, bad guy. But they don't trust you. And that was what was open. I told them, I said, from the people I've been talking to, they say they feel like their fathers are their first bullies. And I'm happy that we put it to the test. We put it to the test in their presence so that nobody will say, is it not women? They will say anything to get clicks.
Yeah.
And the MC put it to test, and all of them confirmed it that they don't feel comfortable. But then if you are raising your children at home, you are telling them they can't speak up, their voices are not heard, they are not respected in your home. Then you want them to go and fight for themselves. Then somebody bullies them, and
And
you
you
expect them
think,
to stand up. They
yeah,
can't stand up.
they
They
can't, they
can't.
can't. One of the things that like you said, that is always beautiful in the room is the fact that the fathers are made to
To
listen to the boys.
listen.
Can you remember last year how many fathers were crying when the boys were
That's
talking to?
I was just going there. I was going there. It was almost like when I then said, "This is what you're doing to your children. You don't know." A lot of them were like, "Are you for real?" Then the MC told them, "Everybody, step out." The MC found all of them out and asked their children, and all of the boys there said the same. They came back. The father, some of them were crying because obviously they didn't know the
The
damage.
damage
They didn't know the damage that their behavior was inflicting on their
on their
children.
children. Yeah, I agree with you. And the truth of the matter is, um, I said this one time on a TV interview, and the person said, "Are you making excuses for the men?" And my answer is no. And I'm going to say it again that the truth is the truth is for our men, a lot of things were not
A
done. A
lot,
lot of things were
too
not
many
done. And that's why
assumptions.
a lot of them are
They don't
struggling
because they
today.
don't know.
Because
Because the blueprints that they have is for example, says, let me quickly share something very simple. I shared a video of the boys in a few days ago that they were cooking. Adam was turning amala. And people are wailing. A lot of people, some men are saying, oh, you should do that's not even my point. It is the women in my DM saying, how did you do this? And since everything came back, I said to them, these children watching you do it, they are not learning anything. Allow them to do it with their own
let
hands.
them
Be
do
ready.
it. Let them pour it on the burner.
Were you
Let
there?
them clean
I
it.
said, be ready for wastage. Be ready for cocoa melon when they first start. But by the second time, they will build their confidence. When you go and start a new job, do you not get trained? When you
Exactly.
go and start a
Exactly.
new job, you get trained. People give you hands-on training. So you can't just say, Chibi, you are looking at me. No, no. Just by looking at you, they are just
And
seeing. The moment they
yeah,
step
and
away, they forget.
they
Allow
forget. So
them
we
do
have
this
to
thing
let
with
them
their
do it.
hands.
Yeah, we have
Adam
to
was
let them. And that
outside.
patience come from us parents. We need to be
It's
patient.
very important. We need to be patient, and not just patience. We need to be intentional about what we want to teach them. Since we have like a rota, we have a rota of what we do. Okay, when we're doing learning how to cook rice, right? It was weeks. I was cooking rice every week for no reason.
I feel
I
you.
was.
I feel
I
you.
was cooking rice
I
every week
feel
for no
you.
reason.
Mm-hmm.
So with the
Mm-hmm.
fathers, whatever it is that they decide they want to teach their son, whatever it is you feel like this is a good trait in me, I want to pass it to my child.
I want to pass it to my child.
Create, you too, it's like creating a plan. I'm a project person. That's where my brain thinks. Create a plan to do this. And in your plan, put miscellaneous milestones. In the next 1 week, I want to try this. Now, teach them fundamentals. What do I do with fundamentals in my house? I use YouTube has made life easy. I tell them, guys, we're doing this next weekend. Today is Monday. What do you want to do? Let's take 1 hour and watch YouTube video. Please let me tell you, by the time I say 1 hour, they would have watched more than 1 hour. They would end up spending more time. By the time we go to the practical, they have watched the rudimentary.
Yeah.
They've seen the rudimentary. They have written down their questions. So when I'm doing it, and I was, Mommy, I saw this in that video. Is this the reason? I can explain. And I think that the fathers can take this from us. You are worth more to us, the wives, the mothers, and your children, than just providing money.
No. See, I am sorry to say, you said you are worth more to us than providing. We support you to provide, and we are happy to support.
We are happy.
We want you to take care of it, be there, be present. And I know that a lot of people say there's something that I was writing an article yesterday night. I was sleeping and I was just thinking and I just took, you know, when you just take a paper next to your bed and you're just writing. And what I was writing about was the gap in the father-son relationship. And one of the things that came to mind is, by default, the society, the norm is when they say, like you said, parents, raise up your hand, it is the mother. When they say, so even when you go to PTA, Parents Teachers Association, is the mothers. And when they see fathers, people will be looking like,
yes.
I remember when my children were young in primary school, my husband used to do school run in the morning. I would do the afternoon one. One day, my husband came home and said, very funny, and he said, this school run I'm doing, the way they're always looking at me, that is this man jobless? I said, when they look at you next time, look at them very well and tell them, these ones are my main jobs. And these are my primary job. These are my primary assignments. So look at them very well. He said, because most times, you know, in those primary school, you queue up to put your children into class and all of that. He said, like 90% of the people in the queue are mothers. I said, yes, you're making a difference. And you guess what? After a while, we switch seats. I will do morning, he will do afternoon. And the afternoon one, you have to be there 10 minutes earlier. And then, is what we now realized later on down the term was fathers were now beginning to show up one by one. And I was saying to him, I said, do you know what you are doing? You're stylishly sending these women home to let their husband come and do that. It's okay for the man to come and do school run.
You know,
it's okay for the man to come to teachers meeting. Do the school. It's okay.
I shared something from the brunch on my feed day before yesterday, and it was talking about, you know, doing what you're doing. If everybody else is going left, intentionally go right. Let them call you crazy, but continue in that going right. Before you know it, if that going right becomes a blueprint. And that's how disruption is born. Because for some people, they would think that even this should be done by a man.
Exactly.
Do you understand? We need to start thinking about how can we challenge
the norm,
stronghold and you know, cultural protocols that is limiting,
that is damaging
parents and parent-children relationships. Because what stops you from having a conversation as a father? What stops you from having a conversation about period with your daughter? What stops you? Because the thing is, if we don't have those conversations, she will find the information outside. The world will teach them more than you need to teach them. I told you at Naomi's conference, I told you that my son asked me a question I wasn't ready to answer, and it was around sexual information. For me, I had broken down the different stages of the sexual discussion. So I made sure that at this age, this is the level I'm going to stop. But then I stopped at the level I wanted to stop, and then 1 week after, somebody said something in school. Somebody said something in school, and the boy was wondering, what was this one they are saying? But thank God that there was a relationship, there was an opportunity there's a feedback loop that we have. He came home. There's no judgment. He came and said, Mommy, I heard this. What does it mean? I said, I'm coming. I went to the toilet. When I Googled it, what he was asking me was equal to male erection.
Wow.
So there were senior boys in the toilet watching adult movies, and they were talking about the fact that watching that thing gave me this. So they used a coded word. It was the coded word my son picked up. When I checked Google in the toilet and I found what it was, I was like, Jesus, what is this? But you know what? I came out. I said, God, speak through me. Obviously, this boy has gone one step ahead. I now need to help him to put a guardrail around this one step ahead. Because if you leave them, he will then enter the rabbit hole of Google. And listen, sis, the internet will teach them more than you want them to know. So I sat him down. I explained everything. Sis, if you sit down with Adam, he will explain period to you from beginning to end. Why?
And then, I don't know. Maybe there's something about parenting boys in our generation that I want to confidently say, and I hope if a mama boys or a parent even, that you're noticing the gaps and you're plugging it in. Talking about your children, I think I mentioned it at Naomi Stripe conference where my son went to the teacher and said, Miss, do you need you feel uncomfortable? Is it your monthly cycle? That's how it and the teacher came to me and said, wow, your son is a delight. He pays attention. When I enter this perimenopausal journey, every journey I will call them, sit down. This is how he's doing. Go and do the research. See. It's like I'm lying. It was when I said, go and do the research that the boys, all of this medication, all of this, they were the ones that went to do research and bought them with their money. This is the basket. And they will remind me, Mom, have you taken your supplements? Mom, have you taken your supplements? This is what this will do because of the stage of life you are. This is what it will do. And I'm like, if I don't tell them, see,
they will not have to tell them what you don't want them to know.
Tell them rubbish. And then I will also suffer because, like we said earlier on, I want to do everything by myself. But when I have people to take care of me, people are me. Why am I making amala by myself? Why am I making by myself?
See, now that Adam knows how to do amala, it's Tisha's time. Tisha has started doing it. In fact, because of the way people are shouting about it, I am recording the process of it. I recorded Tisha's first lesson. Half of my water and the rhubarb poured on top of the gas. I didn't flinch. I didn't shout. I just
There's no need.
He said, Mommy, sorry. I said, sorry for what? Continue.
Don't we will be all right. Some will remain in the pot that we will eat. Don't worry. Let's carry on.
That's it. So Joshua's the Dad and I event, like I said, it was so important. It was an opportunity for these fathers to see some of the things that their wives, I'm sure their wives have been saying at home, but they were not listening to. And it's unfortunate that some of them they wait till it is an outsider that will come shows them an experiment and tells them what is happening. If they hold their boys the way we hold the boys, since we will not have boys who end up being trans and causing problem everywhere.
No, we won't. We won't. God will help us. And somebody asked the question earlier, and I'd like to answer the question where the person said, so can moms come as well? So last year was the first time that we allowed a mom in. And like Toyosi said, she broke the bar. She broke it. And like she said, she actually came to drop the boys. And I think there was myself and my one of my team members, Tolu, that was there. And there was also two of us as girls, ladies, and we normally would sit at the back. Of course, I would be more whatever, but I always want to at least one lady to be there with me, just in case we need to do a few things and I don't want the men to be distracted. And then so when she was going, like she said, I just asked the MC, why would should we allow them to say yes, let us stay? And you know what? One of the reasons why we allowed this stay was so that you could watch and give us feedback.
Oh wow.
But In fact, I still have your video, your celebratory video, and I'm going to put it up maybe sometime
Please
this
put
week, where
it
we
up.
said, okay, stay back, and then you stayed back. Yes, you were observing, and you shared your feedback at the end of the whole thing. But the point is that, do we allow mothers, like I said, Toyosi was the first mother we allowed, and this year we're thinking, even if you bring your sons as a mother, you might be allowed to hang around, but not in the
With
room
them.
and not interfering with them.
Yeah, because
And somebody
I didn't
also asked me,
interfere. I just
no,
sat
she
at the
didn't.
back all through and I
No,
was listening.
in
And I
fact,
think that since that listening
no,
was even
Toyosi, you weren't just listening. I caught you on several occasions praying in the
okay.
spirits.
I was praying. I was
Yes.
praying because, you know, and you know one thing that maybe I've not mentioned this. I need to mention it on this live session.
Mm,
One thing that I also felt like the Dad and I event blessed me with was the fact that I was a bit nervous that my children were going to feel left alone
mm,
because their dad
mm.
wasn't there.
I was actually
And
going to ask you
that
that
didn't
question.
happen. If there is
Mm,
anybody on this call, or if you watch this live session later and you're thinking, oh, but maybe because I'm a single mom and all of that, and I hadn't even come out publicly that I was a single mom.
mm,
I hadn't. You know, I was feeling like I don't want my children to feel like, oh, other people's fathers are there. That did not happen. That didn't happen. In fact, like I mentioned in my video that I made, we left there with a volunteer mentor. He was just looking at the two of them. After a while, he told me, I find it so difficult to believe that you have been raising these boys by yourself.
myself, yeah.
You have done a fantastic job. And I am
Mm,
offering to support you in any way that you need help to even make them better. I sat there, I cried.
mm.
I
And yeah, he came to
cried.
me and said, is it okay if I connect? I said, yes, that's the purpose. That's why they're here, to connect. And somebody asked me a question to say, did you get mentor fathers on the day? So you see, I just answered the question.
Yes.
Yes, we get mentor fathers on the day. And if you, the mom, is open to it, they get
But
mentor father, even
continuous, yeah.
outside,
Yeah.
continuously. It becomes a continuous relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know about the relationship between them, but yes, the man told me, because he's one of our matrons in Joshua Amin, and told me. And in fact, sometimes he sends messages to me to say, oh, I'm still in touch with
With this person.
Asha and Adam, and he knows their name. He doesn't even mention your name. Sorry, sorry. He knows his boys' names, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'm happy. And it's a delight to me, that they have that. Another thing that is beautiful that also enjoy seeing in the room is because the gap, there's so much, sometimes you feel the gap between the ages of the boys, but in the room, you hardly know that these
There
boys
was
are
no
older.
gap. No, there was no gap. There was the dancing. Since there was the dancing, there was the competition. It was so beautiful. And I also feel like for younger boys, it's also an opportunity for them to see older boys who look like them, who are doing well. Like your
Mm.
children are, I don't know if anybody, I'm sure people have said it a lot, but your children are worthy of emulation.
Oh,
They are the example of black boys to show
thank you.
children
Thank
who
you.
are growing up
Mm.
to say, listen, you can be that cool and still be a decent human being. You can be that cool and love Jesus. You can be that cool and remember the child of whom you are.
Mm. Mm.
You can be that
Oh, thank
cool
you. Thank
and
you.
and and be the reason why people praise the name of God. Because if you, you see fine boys who love Jesus. There's nothing better than that.
Nothing better than that, too. There's nothing better than that. I agree with you. Fine boys, we love Jesus. And it's a joy. It's a joy to see all of them all. So yes, ladies, gentlemen, if you're listening to us, everyone is welcome. Somebody was asking me in church today to say, what age do you allow? I said, well, previously I would say from age 10, but the guy that held the mic the most in that room last year was 5 years old. And then, like Stacey said, there was no gap between the boys from the 5-year-old to the 23-year-old. They were all digging it, dancing,
And even to the
competing.
fathers, and
To
even
the
to the fathers.
fathers. You remember
Yeah.
the fathers were doing
Oh
a
my
press up, push
God.
up,
It was,
and
it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was so beautiful. It
Yeah,
was
I
so
think
it
that
would have been so
you
nice for their
tried.
wives to see them in that element.
Mm,
Because the
mm,
truth is, you talked about toxic masculinity. No, it's okay to be vulnerable to your wife.
mm,
It's okay to be vulnerable to your
mm.
children. Because when you get to the age, eventually, anyway, these are the people that are going to be in their
In
hands.
the end,
How
yeah.
about you
Mm,
already remove the barrier,
mm,
remove the
mm,
awkwardness of your
mm.
children seeing you? It's okay for your children to see you struggle and rise from it, because you are literally teaching them that it is possible.
Seriously, don't make me cry
No,
with that.
sis,
What you
it
just
is
said.
because
It's,
that's the thing. I wasn't working,
it's
sis. I
okay.
wasn't working for a whole year. I wasn't working for a
Mm,
year. I didn't hide nothing from the boys. I kept saying, guys, everything is fine. However, I'm doing this interviews. Since I have a video of myself, I just remember now, I need to even share it. One of the interviews I was doing that night, it was in the evening, it was the second stage of the interview. The boys had gone to school. The interview was in the afternoon. My son came back. I was sitting on this table waiting to be interviewed. Adam came in. He said, Mommy, your shoulders are really high. You are really nervous. Do you want a hug?
mm,
Can I pray for you? I started crying. I said, how do you know? He said, Mommy, your shoulders, you were literally hunched down.
mm.
Said, I came in, you were hunched down, and the way you responded, that's not you. Can I pray for you? Can I hug?
Emotionally
Do you want a
intelligent
hug?
child.
He came and then he hugged me. The moment he hugged me, I started crying. I said, Adam, I'm a bit anxious about this job. I really want it. I haven't worked for a bit. I really, really, really want this one. And he said to me, he prayed with me. I recorded it. He prayed with me and he said, Mommy, I want you to remember what you always say to us. If it is the will of God, if this job is going to praise God, you will get it. Even if you go to this interview and say rubbish, you will get it.
Mm,
But if you
mm,
go in there with this fear in your body, you will allow the devil to take over.
mm.
Sis, I'm not joking. That moment, I lost every desperation for wanting that job. I lost every desperation for wanting that job. I got the job, but guess what? A week before we started that contract, they rescinded the contract. Yeah,
Wow.
1 week before. 1 week before. And I told her, I said, I'm still, they've taken, they said, Mommy, it means
It's
it's still not
not
what
for
God,
you.
it's still not what God wants.
Not where God wants you.
It's still not what God wants. So imagine if I was hiding. And the problem is when you can't let out the feeling, that's when these men are cranky. You'll be cranky, you'll be shouting. You don't know that you're shouting. You turn to monster your own house. You don't know your wife is running away. Your kids are running away. And if your wife will make up.
Mm,
But it is
mm.
important to create a safe
It's
space for your children.
safe
Let
for
your
your
children see you
children.
struggle and rise. Because without talking, you are telling them that it is okay to fall.
Let me hold it there. I want to reiterate this. Let your children see you struggle. Let them see you fall and rise.
And rise.
Because, in all honesty, they will fall.
They will.
Mm.
And they need the notebook. They need the
And they need
blueprint.
to know that it's okay to fall because
Exactly.
you will rise.
Oh.
You know why I said, do not let me cry? You're talking. My husband, he had a challenge at work, and that day he came back from work. I was in my room, and he came back from work. As soon as, of course, I know this, as soon as I saw him, I knew there was
Something
something
wrong.
wrong. And there is, in all honesty, we carry spirits. Your aura carries spirits with you. And my oldest son was home then, and he was in his room. And I think he said, "Welcome, Dad." Most times the way they greet themselves is, "Hey, son, hey, Dad." I think my husband was coming and I just said, "Hey, son." And that one said, "Hey, Dad." And he came out of his room and said, "Welcome,
Yeah.
Dad." And my husband replied. And then he stood. I could see him standing on the side of our room that my husband entered room. I was like, "There's something wrong with you." And he said, "Yes, I can feel it. Dad, what's wrong? What happened as well?" And then the boy sat on my bed and my husband told her what was happening at work and everything. And I just took a deep breath and I said, "God's got you." And my son put his hand on my husband's shoulder and said, "Dad, God's got you. God's gone ahead of you. He has established you." Guess what? The following week, my son had similar challenge at work.
Mm.
Similar challenge at
Mm.
work. So the boy now came to me in my office here and said, Mom, so and so then I just came out of the meeting and this was said, and I said, thank you, Lord, God got you. This too shall pass. And he said, yes, it shall pass. I remember when Dad went through this, when Dad said, and you guess what? And we started talking about all of the things that told us and all the conversation we had. From that, he said, Mom, I'm coming. Let me go and send this email too. Based on the conversation we had with Dad. When we were having, when I was, it was just the both of us at home because he was working from home. And then he just said, Mom, you know what? I'll go and send this email, a similar email. And he drafted the email. He sent the email to me. I reviewed it, told him, okay, change this one. And then he sent the email off at work. Now, the rest is story, right? But the point there is saw Dad. Dad
Deal
told
with
him.
it. Yeah, I saw how Dad
So
handled it.
when that was happening at work, when he was going through a challenge at work, he didn't feel like, oh, they're picking on me because I'm black or da 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 da. He felt, okay, these are parts of the challenges you face at work. I got to deal with it. This was on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, I don't know the meeting. Thursday, he got up and said, Mom, I'm going to the office. And he got up. That day, you know, to see the way he dressed up. He dressed up, wore his shirt, wore tie, wore this jumper thing they wear on it. And I'm like, you're looking so cocky. He said, yes, Mom, because of the meeting I want to go and have. I'm like, that's your father's son. But that was because of how he saw his dad dealt with it on the journey. It's very, very important. Our children are watching us. We are the first the Bible they're reading. Above the things we see, it's
I actually see, you see, talk is cheap. I keep saying it. Talk is cheap. Anybody can talk.
Anybody can talk.
These children don't hear. They don't even hear you talk. They don't hear.
Do we
They're
hear?
seeing you do.
Do we hear?
Literally, it's like when you have, when we're younger, VHS tape, that video tape, they're literally just rolling the tape. They are rolling the tape. So that when the issue comes up, they unroll. And it is what we have deposited in them that they will unroll. If you don't deposit what will help them make decision when you are not there, they cannot do the right thing.
And the society will break them.
Oh my God. And they will just join the statistics. They will just join the statistics of all this. The question is, when you have challenges as a father, how are you handling it? How are you showing up for your chances? Like you, there is nothing in this house that I don't turn into a lesson moment.
They called me. My middle name was Life Lessons.
There's nothing in this house. Once it happens and we get over it, we will all sit down and say, Oluwatishe, that thing that happened, what do you think could have been different? What lesson did you pick any lesson from it?
They will go ahead, Mom, life lesson moments.
They will grumble when you first call them, Kokomi. What do you think you could have done differently? Or what do you think Mommy should have done differently?
And you know what? You said something that they will grumble. I want to say, parents, please
ignore the
don't let those grumbling get at you.
Sis,
you know,
Jesus,
sis, you know what?
I made a video one time. I said, don't worry about how they respond. Just see, your own is, have you communicated? Because sometimes,
are you consistent?
Oh God, because a lot of times, sis, sometimes it's hormones. Sometimes it's feeling that they don't know. Sometimes it's them feeling like, I'm already an adult and people should let me be. Ignore it. Somebody said, oh no, I will control, I will control, I will stop a disrespect. I said, are you sure it is a disrespect or is it trauma that you are carrying? Because what some of the things that you people call disrespect, it is you feeling like, baby, that can share me. Why are you doing it to me? Have you challenged yourself and say, is this thing actually being disrespectful?
Exactly. And the truth of the matter is, when things are even happening and we're consistent in love, years down, my children are grown now.
Change. They remember
the
these things.
They said to me the other you know, I can't remember what I was saying to my son, and he was telling me, "Oh, mom," and then something, and then I talked about this value, and I think I want you to call. Want you to talk to this my friend because this is how they're struggling. I was telling them about the specific values that we hold here, da 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 da, and he said, "Mom, are you happy?"
Meanwhile, when
And
you
I
were
said,
starting to talk about the values, he's probably grumbling.
and I said, wait, you told your friend that. He said, oh, mom, I knew you were going to say that because you used to think I don't like those moments. Of course, when I want to sleep, when I want to play game, but mom, everything you were saying and doing, we were seeing, we were listening, we were even discussing it amongst ourselves. And I was
Can you
like,
imagine?
so you can call your friend
And
now. I said,
you
you
tell
have
your
to pay.
friend. Can you imagine?
I said, you have to.
Sis, do you know that recently I even told Tolu, we were in the kitchen downstairs. There was something we were talking about, and then I can't remember what I asked Adam, and it was like, Mom, I'm sorry for the day, for those days when I used to just argue. Now I look back and I'm like, I was just being silly. Like I could have just listened. Eh?
Imagine if you had reacted
Sis, I said,
negatively.
Adam. He said, yeah, mommy. I said, so do you believe that listening would have made things a lot easier? He said, yes. As I said, will you sit down with me on my YouTube video and share this? He said, yes. That he will say, I said, what will you say? He said, if you're like my age and you're just turning 18 and you're just, wanting to argue about everything, fight about everything, I've been there. I just want to tell you that in
Oh.
another year, you're gonna feel very silly for arguing about all those things because everything your mom says will definitely happen. Since I had to call Tolu, I said, Tolu, Chongo, I'm telling you. He was like, Mom, I'm happy to sit down and say it so that somebody who is like maybe a year younger than me, they know.
No,
That when you
oh,
become a teenager, you
beautiful,
want to fight everything, you
beautiful.
want to argue about everything, you want to argue right, just argue. Sis, argue, argue, argue. Maybe on argue, money, Adam, this is what is going to happen. And this is the reason. Gbogbo grumble to wá fẹ́
And it's
grumble
okay
lẹ́yìn ẹ̀.
for you to throw your tantrum. I'm not
Are you telling me?
call me.
Semi, but grumble,
Call
grumble,
me.
me, I'm above it. And I'll just walk away. See, he will
Uh-huh.
finish his grumbling, he will go and do his thing. Let me give you a life example. Washing of plates used to be an issue for him. He will be grumbling. After a while, I told him, I said, Adam, I'm leaving this to you 100%. Set your time, do your own thing. Since 7 o'clock every day, alarm Madu, Adam wash plate. Only set alarm if I'm not joking.
Wow.
Come up, he let him be playing the most interesting game in this life.
It will
Once the
be
alarm goes off, Adam will just get up. Oh, I'm going to do my stuff. There's no need. Imagine if I was fighting and arguing. Your relationship with your
exactly.
children will damage.
It will damage.
They will still not listen. They will go and wash the plate and break your plate, and you cannot do anything. And then you yourself, you are unhappy because you are feeling that you are failed because your child didn't listen. No, sometimes it is okay for us to have conversations with them, actually walk hand in hand with them. Allow them, I call it, you give them two options. Let them feel like they're the ones making the decision. Meanwhile, you are the one that made your decision. Allow them use their own hand to tie themselves with the rope they choose.
Particularly the
I'm
boys that love to
telling
be in
you,
control.
people think it's argument. No, it's not argument. Guys, here are ABCD ways that we can do this thing. Make a choice. Whichever one you choose, I'm happy with it. I've already created the box for you guys. Oh yeah, continue to battle in long bed. It's as
I
simple as
agree.
that.
I agree with you. And what you're doing is helping them, setting them up for success. A lot of the times we unknowingly set our children
For
up
failure,
for failure.
because we
You
don't
know,
equip
when they
them
were
with
younger,
agency.
when they were like them Asha's age, I used to walk like 2 hours away from home,
Wow.
drive. Then when I'm driving back home, I'll leave work at 4 p.m. So I'll go early to resume at 8 so that I can leave work at 4. And then by 6, latest
Yeah,
6:30,
so
the traffic, I'm at home with them. And one of the things I hate is a dirty kitchen. I do not like a dirty kitchen. And because of the way my home is set up, you come in, the living room was on one side, is on the left, the kitchen is right on the right hand side. So when I'm coming home, automatically I'm
the
going
first
into the
thing you see
kitchen.
the kitchen, yeah.
So and then it will be messy because they had come back from school, they have had their lunch, and my children, when they were younger, their habit was they come back from school, they take off their uniform, toss them into the washing machine, and go for nap. It was like by clock. So if that nap time is pushing, you see them cranky and all of that. Now, one day when I got back from work and the kitchen was messy, I called them and said, let's discuss. How can we
Make this
help each other
better.
in this matter? And you know what they said? They said, Mom, anytime you're leaving the office, call us. Okay? So when I'm leaving the office, I'll call them. In their head, they're calculating, Mom is 2 hours away.
Wait, oh yeah, let's get to work.
You know, that's what I said. Maybe they will not start to work, but they are gauging. You know what they now started doing? 1 hour later, they will call me, Mom, you are an hour away. Where are you? So they now knew landmarks home. Where are you? When they say that, okay, wherever I am, if it's exactly 1 hour away, they will now start doing. That's why they call me. Okay, Mom, what do you want us to put this? Should we bring the what soup should we bring out of the freezer? So it now went even beyond cleaning the kitchen. It went as far as what's for dinner? What do you want us to bring out? Mom, would you need us to do anything? Should I wash this? Should I do that? So by the time I get home, life is easy. Dinner is all there. Everything is set for dinner, Papa. And how did that happen? From that simple conversation of, boys, how can we help ourselves? I need help so that I can help you,
and you can help me.
And that's, you know what? I was saying to somebody, I said, if I do anything in the kitchen, there are men now, and my son wants to cook, and he enters the kitchen and he will come, Mom, why did you leave your pot in the sink? I want... Mom, now I want to cook and I need to wash your pots. Mom.
Oh my God.
Next time, please wash your pots, because you know I don't like a dirty kitchen.
Can you imagine?
They are using my medicine for me now.
That's it.
But you know, we can go on and on and on and on about this conversation. And guys, we're doing this again next week Sunday, right? Toyosi?
Hopefully.
We'll be back here again next week Sunday. But before we go tonight, I want you to leave one word with that mother who is thinking, is this dinner? Or maybe a single mom is saying, is this dinner actually for my children? Should I take them? Should I not take them?
Okay, for the mom who is watching us or who is going to see this video later, whether you're single or you're married or you're married single, yeah.
That's a topic for another day.
So long as you have boys and you want them to turn out well, and you also know deep within your heart that there is a gap between them and their dad. Even if your husband doesn't want to pay for this dinner, I am challenging you, not encouraging, I'm challenging you to invest this in your son's life or in your boy's life. Because what is going to happen is this: reduce the barrier of entry, remove the resistance for the fathers, pay for them. Just get them to show up, right? This investment, you will someday sit back and say, this Toyosi girl, God bless her. Because you're going to see a complete difference in your husband and your son's relationship. Whatever friction may be happening currently, or even if it doesn't look like a friction, but you know that you want your son to be closer to the dad. You want your husband to listen more. Because us mothers, we know when our sons, when our children are suffering the lack of attention from their dads. We know. If you are here and you're thinking, my son will benefit from this, trust me, they don't make the fathers uncomfortable. If that's what you're worrying about, maybe your husband is one of those tough cookie and you're thinking, I don't want him to come back and say, she went to go and embarrass me. They don't embarrass them. They don't make them uncomfortable. Not at all. In fact, the fathers were the ones that became, when they became voluntary guinea pigs, because they had seen that this was better for them. Imagine if your son normally would not even sit near his dad. Now they're at a dinner table, they're having conversations, they're dressed up, oh my God, they're dressed up, like their dad, and they're having proper conversation, also with other dads, and not just other dads who are riffraff. I don't mean money. People who also mean well for their families, who you definitely will want your children to even interact with their children. The kind of boys you want to say, these ones, their values align with ours. My children should make friends with these ones. So please pay for your husbands. If they are the ones that will not pay themselves, pay for them and say, oh, this is a gift for both of you. You guys just go and have fun. I just want both of you to go and spend some time outside of the house together. Sometimes it's like when you go to retreat, you come back feeling refreshed. You come back feeling like brand new. That's what it is.
And that's been the testimony. You know, in the room, there are fathers who have been coming for the past 6 years, some 7 years.
One of
and that's
that,
always the testimony.
one of the dads says that every time they come, it's different. They leave here feeling like a different level of relationship has been unlocked, a different level of depth has been unlocked in his relationship with his sons. So this is my final word. I'm challenging you, if you're a mom on this call, and if you're a dad and you stumble upon this video, I am challenging you to say, this Toyosi girl holds me the money for this dinner if I go and I don't get value from it. Hold me, send me a DM and say, Toyosi, you hold me for this dinner that I paid for because I didn't get value. Because I know that you will get value. And when you get value, you now owe me. Thank you.
I like that. I like that. I like that. But thank you so much for putting your money on this. And it is the truth. And the results have not only been in the lives of the people that have attended, even my own family, you know, and because of the way our men were raised, there were gaps. So even I noticed the gaps in my own home. And between you and I, there was a time my younger son called me and said, Mom, I want to have a good relationship with my dad. I don't want to wait until I am an adult that I will have a relationship with him. So it differentiated between having a relationship and having a
good relationship.
So I'm just saying, guys, it's very important. Our children desire this thing.
They do.
They desire,
they do, and they deserve it.
I
just also want to add, you didn't ask me to add this. I feel like whoever anybody is going to pay for this event is minuscule. It's too tiny compared to the value that comes with it. Money will be spent. Money can be made. But when you miss the opportunity to build a relationship between your husband and your children, or between yourself as a father and your sons, you already missed the chance to make that difference in their lives. Because the gap doesn't then get closer, it gets bigger. As they get older, they drift further away.
Yeah, you're very correct. You're very correct. And you know, sometimes you say, a lot of us will say, oh, I have a relationship with my father. But what kind of
relationship do you have with your father?
That boy said, I want a good relationship. I don't just want I did not tell him that. He came up to me and said it. And I think he was about 11 years old or so when he said it. That, Mom, I want a good relationship with my dad now. And I'm grateful for this dinner. Because you know what? One of the things I say to fathers is, it's okay. You people are not talking to each other. Just make sure, find your way there. On your way home, you people will be tired of talking.
I'm telling you,
it's okay.
There will be so much to talk about.
Fine, just come. And mothers have called me to say, please, what did you people do there? Because these two people, since this dinner, I don't even understand. The rest of us have become strangers in the home. This father and something, you know, and I've heard numerous testimonies like that. Guys, I beg you, it's an investment. Investment into legacy, investment into the future.
Absolutely.
that we would reap it in hundred folds. But
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Toyosi. Wow, this has
Thank you
been
for
an
having
interesting chat.
me.
It's you, and you know I love you. You know I love you. I love you,
Thank
love
you
you, love
so,
you.
so
Thank
much.
you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking care of my boys.
Please pay me salary. Ah, give me salary.
Don't
Yesterday I was
worry,
doing driver.
calm
I was
down.
doing
Be
driver all
calming
over.
down.
Sis, I don't know how you did it, but you know when they have birthday parties at two different ends of the city.
Oh, two
I took
games.
one person here, came back, took one person here, and then when it was time to pick them, I went to pick from there. I went to pick from there. After a while, I was like, what exactly is my Saturday? What
Don't
is
worry.
this?
We will soon start driving. Give us a couple of years more.
I don't
You
know.
see, that they will start carrying you. You'll be begging, okay, who will carry me here? And you'll be wondering, who should I choose? Who should I choose?
Oh my God. Thank you so much,
All
sis.
right.
Thank you for having me. God
Thank
bless you.
you.
And
No,
well
my
done.
pleasure. Thank
Well
you so
done.
much
Well
for
done.
joining
Well done.
me. Yeah. All right. Love
Thank
you.
you. Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone who
Thank you,
has
everyone, for
joined
joining
us.
us. Bye.
Bye. We love you.